So friends, welcome to the part 10 of Tableau Desktop Specialist. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. This is the YouTube handle of this channel. You can look out for shorts, videos, and so on. There are 600 plus videos, 3000 plus questions. Let's jump into this question. You need to display the complete list of potential data connections to connect to a server. What action should you perform? Okay. So you can go to the connect pane and see. I just want to let you know that these are so many different data sources that you can use to connect. So Tableau is a leader when we talk about BI, its ability to connect to so many data sources. Okay. See, if your client says, hey, which BI tool should I buy? If the client has a vision that they are going to cloud or multi-cloud or hybrid cloud and they want to connect to so many different data sources, they have different databases and so on, Tableau makes sense. But if they just are looking for one or two databases, then you should go, if cost is a factor, then you should go for cheaper options. Tableau is not cheap among the BI platforms. Okay, so here you will just need to go under to a server option, and so the first one says select connecting to data. So connecting to data will not give you the entire list. Okay, if you select more under to a file and select new will just give you what options you have, but here you are looking for potential data connections, complete list of potential data connections when you connect to a server. So C is the option. The next question is talking about you need to invert the color intensity of a quantitative range. What option should I use? See, color, we try to give color to different objects. For example, here all marks have default color even when there are no fields on color. Okay, so you have different color palettes like this. See this, you have color palettes. Okay, and then you can change the color whatever you want and so on. Now if you want to reverse it, so there is an option reversed. So you can pause this, read this carefully. So what it says is, if you want lower values to have darker intensity, then reverse the palette. That means, see, normally what we do, lower values we give light color and higher values we give dark color. Okay, but if you want to reverse it, you can use reversed. This is an important feature, so you should definitely pause this, read this, and you should make a note of it. Reversed feature. See, border, why we use border? See, border we use just to give a context, a border around certain things, huh? Like this. We border has nothing to do with colors. So this is one. Now if we talk about opacity, opacity is what? Transparency. So if you see this option, now you get option to control opacity also. So when you change opacity control, it applies to all colors. So opacity, I'll explain with this diagram. You see this diagram here, it is very dark. Here it is there, but it is very light. So it is more kind of, the color is the same, but it is opaque. So opacity has nothing to do with colors. And then we have stepped color. See, stepped color means you see this example here, you have light green, then slightly darker, then more darker. This is step color. See, why do we use step color? You want to group certain things into one uniform bin. Okay, and each bin can be one color. So within a color, within one color, like we saw in that example, within green, you want to distinguish light green, slightly darker than the darkest. That is step color. Step color is not to reverse the order or the sequence of the colors. So this would be the final answer. So this is also a good article for reversing the color gradient without reversing the order. So this is can also be referred to. You can pause this and read this to understand more. Now let us look at the next question. So which statement describes aliases? Now some people also call it alias. Up to you. Ilyas by, Sayed by, like that. You can call it alias also. See here, good example of alias. You have members name as consumer, but you are putting an alias of people, corporate as businesses, home office as home business. So it's up to you. You can. This is the purpose of alias, so that you can use your own terms. If you don't like the terms set in the database. Now you might ask, hey, why not change these things in the database itself? So many times the data that is stored in a data warehouse or whatever data source you are using, that is being used by so many multiple systems. Just for your whims and wishes, we cannot turn the color of a leaf to pink. It will be green. Simple, right? Because just because you like pink, we will change the color of the leaves to pink. It cannot happen. Similarly here, just because it is your system, you want this value. If you want it, you change it in your report itself. Okay. When you will create your own earth, you change the color. So it's your home. If you want pink leaf, you can buy an artificial tree and make the leaves pink. Up to you. See, one thing which is very inaccurate is B. It says when you assign an alias, right, the name changes in the database. No, this alias is just residing uh, in your BI application. Nothing changes in the database. First of all, BI is not meant to write to databases. It is always read only. Now, second thing that we saw in our documentation is uh, we are creating aliases during our visualization creation process. Like we open the report and we have just started dropping elements. So this is saying that before you create a visualization, you can do that. So this is wrong. Okay. If you see this step is a part of creating the base. You have already opened the editor. Now you're trying to create the base, and during that process, you are documenting or changing this stuff here. See, I'll give you an example here. So, like when you're creating a dashboard, okay, you drop product category, which is your uh, discrete dimension. But then the moment you add some quantitative measure, right, like sales performance, you want to see sales based on product category. The moment you do that, your product category becomes a discrete measure. So that is why continuous dimension. Continuous dimension means what? Something like year, time based, something of that sort. Continuous dimension. This becomes wrong. It works perfectly with discrete measures, like I showed you in this previous one. Here, this documentation. Like in this case, your segment becomes a discrete measure because you are reporting sum of sales based on segments. And then here, like you saw, we have created aliases for the segment. So I hope you understood the concept, how we decoded the answer. And this question specifically is very confusing. During the exam, it becomes very difficult to answer it. And the moment you see discrete measure, you think about, hey, you know what, something like a product category and I'm giving aliases. How can that be a discrete measure? So that becomes a discrete measure. It is a discrete dimension, but it becomes a discrete measure the moment you put sales or some measure, and it gets grouped and becomes a discrete measure. So this concept is very important. So if you have not yet subscribed, do so. I'm going to post a lot of videos on Tableau certifications, desktop specialist primarily. And then this is the YouTube handle. You can look out for 600 plus videos, 3000 plus questions focused on cloud technologies, analytics, Snowflake, and so on. So there is a link in the description. You can click that, and or you can also click the join button below this video and become a cloud kernel or a cloud ninja member, and you can gain access to the paid content, paid questions as well. The free content plus paid content will help you with the certifications. If you have any constructive comment or you think this video was helpful, please drop in your suggestions. Thank you for your time. See you in the next part.